we gotta talk about the McFlurry. Okay, I know this is an odd video from me and not my usual thing, but just like, stick with me here because I have fallen down a rabbit hole that you all must join me in. So recently, this article was brought to my attention, and I was like, what? Why? So I decided, fuck it, I'm going down this rabbit hole and I shall bring this burden of knowledge upon myself. And then I decided to share it with you. So before we get into the machines, let's talk about what is a McFlurry.
He's so fluffy, I'm gonna die!
Well, it's an ice cream, innit? Okay, that's not really enough for what we're about to get into, so let me elaborate a bit more. The McFlurry was created by McDonald's franchisees Ron McClellan in 1995 and went on to be test marketed in 1997 and started rollout as a product in March of 1998. The McFlurry itself is a whipped soft serve vanilla flavoured ice cream. And this, I had no idea about this until I started researching it, but you know that funky spoon they have? This design is actually because the spoon is used in blending the ice cream itself before being detached for like eating purposes. And of course, the McFlurry has received countless variations with just about every kind of chocolate under the sun. So now we know exactly what a McFlurry is, let's start talking about what we are really here for. The machines.
On the machine!
So the exact model of machine they use does vary. However, the model you'll most likely be familiar with is the Taylor C602 Digital, a machine produced by the Taylor Company. Currently, this model is found in over 13,000 McDonald's locations in the US alone as of 2021. This brings us to what could be the source of some of our ice cream woes, how these machines are cleaned. This starts with an automated daily cleaning mode that heats a sanitizer to high temperatures for about 4 hours, the first of a total of an 11-step cleaning process, involving taking the machine apart and piecing it back together after cleaning. Any error in this process causes the machine to be unable to be used until a repairman from the Taylor Company is able to come and repair the machine. In the year 2000, a study was conducted in which it revealed at the time roughly 25% of machines installed at McDonald's simply just weren't functioning. Now, I did actually manage to find the manual that McDonald's employees are given for cleaning and maintaining the machines. As you can see, it's a lot. I won't go over all of this as it's just way too much for one video, but what I will point out is in the troubleshooting section, a majority of the answers is call a service technician. And this troubleshooting guide is extensive. There are so many things that can go wrong, and what it appears to be is a major issue with the software that the machines are running on in the first place, and we will be talking about that more later. And the repairs for these machines are expensive, like several hundred to thousands of dollars depending on how long repairs take and how often they're required. This alone is fucking bonkers, right? Like, this can't be effective for money making if your machines are constantly needing services. For McDonald's, that is. I'm sure Taylor Company is making some good fucking money from this. In fact, around 25% of their total revenue is off repairs and maintenance alone. Kindly reminder from Deval that corporations are not your friends and will literally poison you to make a quick buck. But that's not the focus of this video. Now, to go on a slight tangent, this is relevant, I swear, but we need to talk about the Taylor Company. The company was founded in 1926 by Charles Taylor, who happened to be a third-generation ice cream maker. The company, more specifically LAM Felon, was credited with the creation of the first soft-serve ice cream machine. The ownership of the Taylor Company has changed hands and been through mergers and is currently owned by the Middleby Corporation. And McDonald's isn't the only one this company supplies machines to. This includes other fast food places like In-N-Out Burger, Wendy's, and even the Burger King themselves. So returning to the question, why did, until relatively recently, the McDonald's only allow these models to be used by their franchises? This is speculation to an extent, but this is a goldmine for Taylor Company's investors. The Taylor Company in 2021 brought in a revenue of roughly $2.3 billion, and as said earlier, 25% of that is just from repairing and maintenance. For investors, this means it's always a safe bet to be able to make money on their investments, knowing that there is an almost zero chance of losses. Bear with me now as I put on the tinfoil hat, as I haven't managed to find concrete evidence of this yet, but all businesses and business people aim to generate as much profit for themselves as possible. Therefore, it stands to reason that as the ones who make the decision to keep using the C602, that said McDonald's execs are well aware of the situation. If it costs them or McDonald's revenue, why would they still allow it? My best guess is that a lot of the execs are investors or shareholders in either Taylor or Middleby, and the revenue gained from said investment outweighs the cost. And off topic, while I didn't find exactly where they invested, I did find that a very very concerning amount of them were on various health boards as members or advisors, so I'm sure that's nothing to worry about. Now, this really sucks for franchise owners, as they are the ones footing the bills for the machines and repairs. Now, with the tinfoil hats off, let's get back to the lawsuit. Is what I'd like to say, but this hole just keeps going deeper. Now, some of you may be aware that the size of this problem has become somewhat of a meme on the internet. Everyone knows that the McFlurry machine never works. This happens to such an extent that in 2022, a software engineer, Rashik Saeed, apologies if I butchered the pronunciation of your name, over that summer came up with, developed and released McBroken, a bot designed to track the status of the ice cream machines at various McDonald's locations around the world. The fact that this was felt as needed and necessary at all in the first place is kind of fucking wild. Which finally brings us to the origins of the lawsuit. So let's talk about Kitch. Kitch is a startup company whose main product is a device that connects to the ice cream machines and makes them far more usable and easier to manage, including helping with issues with the inbuilt software. Put it in simple terms, it makes the machines far easier for the teams to use the machines and makes them break far less often. McDonald's franchise owners were super happy to be able to have something that actually helps them function, with some saying that they saved easily thousands of dollars a month. But this is when McDonald's execs step in.
Bruh.
Behind the scenes, they are waging what The Wire described as a 2-year Cold War, which recently started heating up further. In November 2020, McDonald's started emailing the franchises about the dangers of Kitch and to remove them immediately. These dangers range from stating that Kitch invalidated the machine's warranties and could gather confidential information, and even went as far as saying it could cause serious human injury. Now, this clearly had a large impact on Kitch, as faith and trust in their product waned, as McDonald's also told other businesses how dangerous these Kitch devices could be. The next day, they sent out an email advertising the much better alternative, the Taylor Company's own Taylor Shake Sunday connectivity, which was essentially a recreation of Kitch's device. The email included a final warning in all bold and italics, ooh, how serious, not to use Kitch. Kitch believed that during this Cold War, the Taylor Company hired private detectives to get hold of their product. In April 2021, Kitch saw that orders of their product were originating from Taylor's legal officers and some of their executives. When Kitch contacted and talked to Taylor Company, they stated at the time that it does not possess and has never possessed a Kitch device and has no knowledge of anyone logging into a Kitch. And that was all well and good until Kitch filed a lawsuit and requested a temporary restraining order against the Taylor Company, which meant Taylor's COO, Jim Menard, had to admit he did a big stinky lie and stated they only obtained the device to evaluate and assess its potential technology-related impacts upon our soft-serve machine, such as whether the radio frequency of the Kitch device would interfere with our software signal, or whether the Kitch device would drain the power source of our software and or cause its malfunction. Come July later that year, the judge grants Kitch's request and Taylor is forced to hand over any of the devices they have in their possession. Alongside this, Taylor was made to hand over hundreds of emails during this process, with clear examples of them doing extensive research into design and functionality of Kitch's device, which likely led to the development of Taylor's own version of Kitch's device. Kitch clearly did not take too kindly to being slandered by the multi-billion-dollar company and thus launched a lawsuit for damages, stating, McDonald's worked closely with its soft-serve machine manufacturer, Taylor Company, to spread false information about our company, to drive us out of the marketplace and to line their own pocket. Which brings us to the lawsuit that sent me spiraling down this rabbit hole. Kitch has sued McDonald's for roughly $900 million. So yeah, that was a fucking journey, wasn't it? I've no clue if anyone learned anything of value or if this was worth the hours spent slaving over one of these pinboards. But who cares, it was kind of fun. I hope you enjoyed my descent into madness as this one. And who knows, maybe I'll do it again. Until then, I'm Deval, and I'll see you next time. Bye!